why is it important for people in business especially to bring on coaches and mentors?
Yeah. The reality is success leaves clues. Like, you've done things already and you've figured out what doesn't work.
For sure.
You've wasted time, money, and energy figuring out what doesn't work.
And who doesn't work?
I want to pay you money and who doesn't work. Exactly. I want to pay you money to avoid those mistakes and get the cheat code. That is the beautiful thing about coaching. Success leaves clues. Someone out there has already achieved what you want to achieve. Pay them, get the blueprint. Why try and figure it out on your own? That's just functionally stupid to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Money Mondays. I am here with a very, 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 very dear friend and business partner, and also a friend and also business partner, and multiple different things, multiple different projects. I'm very excited that he's here because we're running Operation Blacksite right outside of this RV motorhome right this second. We've been doing this for 3 years together, where we bring in Navy SEALs, Special Forces, FBI agents, police officers, UFC champs, etc., to train people how to fight, shoot, escape handcuffs, escape out of freaking duct tape and all these different things. But more importantly, this gentleman has over 600 franchise locations of Fit Body Boot Camp. Some of you might already be able to guess who it is, obviously. And he's a speaker, an author. He's got $100,000 one-on-one coaching clients left and right. He's been turning down $100,000 coaching clients because he has too many of them coming to him. And so you guys are in for a very special treat. He's also a great family man. I love his book. It's called Man Up. Please give a warm round of applause to Bedros Keuilian.
Woo! Yeah. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it. Thank you again.
As always, we are co-hosted with the real Tarzan. Tarzan this week has been showing me his phone. He's been gaining 100,000 followers every 3 days. Most people on the planet are hoping to get 100,000 followers ever. And every 3 days, he's been showing me 100,000. He went from 8 million to 8.8 million in under 8 weeks. It is mind-boggling. So by the time you're listening to this, he's probably going to be over 9 million and growing. Let's just let that sink in for a second.
8 billion people on the planet. Still got work to do.
You got work to do.
Yeah, only 2 billion saw it last year.
But imagine, yeah, the rate that you're growing it at is, there's no hacking in terms of like fake followers or whatever. You showed me all the stats. You showed me all the behind the scenes numbers. And I think maybe one day an opportunity might come where you might share your brand building strategies, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Then we'll just leave that there for now.
You might start to teach people, huh?
Exactly.
Well, why don't you teach us right now?
All these brains.
Let me get my Instagram.
You guys can get all the inside scoop.
All right, guys. So as you know, on the Money Mondays, we cover 3 core topics: how to make money, how to invest money, how to give it away to charity. Since we rarely have someone come back on the show more than once, Bedros Keuilian is, like I said, dear friend, business partner, everything between. So we're actually going to dive deep into questions about why is mentorship important? Why are live events important? Why is coaching important? Why is it important to try to learn about how to become a human weapon? All the things that Bedros has of his live events, his masterminds, his coaching program, etc. We're going to deep dive into some questions about that so you guys can understand the behind the scenes from someone that has done tens of millions of dollars specifically in live coaching, live events, and training to make humans more efficient. So with that being said, Bedros Keuilian, let's start off. You've got the project, Squire Program, obviously Operation Blacksite.
Yep.
You have one more.
Mogi.
Yeah. It's just fun to say that one. Like, you have these 4 different ones besides your masterminds. You throw these 1,000-person events every single year, years and years and years and years, called BK Live. You've got, like, I remember there was 900 people that are in the fitness and franchise space. Like, you've got all these different events. Walk us through, why are live events important?
So I think that more and more the social media world is separating people. So even though we think we're connected, right? Because, well, I follow Dan, I follow Tarzan, I follow this guy and that guy. There is no real true engagement. Yeah, you're leaving comments, you might share some DMs, etc. But let's face it, you and I know that you might have to share months of DMs and stories. And by the way, if they're DMing you or you, what are the chances of you seeing it? Yeah. It's probably getting lost in some filtered account somewhere. But if they are willing to pay to play, and that's the whole pay to play model. And I learned early on, 15 years ago, when I paid Joe Polish $10,000 or $15,000 to go to his Genius Network Mastermind, immediately I met Dean Graziosi, Brandon Bouchard, Wyatt Woodsmall, obviously Joe Polish, Dan Sullivan, right? And over a 3-day period, a friendship was built.
Right.
there's no way over a 3-day period on social media you're going to be able to build a friendship
with the legends in the marketing game.
Right, exactly. A business partnership that they're going to share their secrets with you. And I remember Dean Graciosi giving me a physical letter. He goes, I send this letter out to people who bought my book and then move them into a coaching program. I go, wait a minute. So if I just change everything about real estate to fitness business and gym business, I can start a mastermind for gym business owners. He's like, yep. So I took that, sent it out to 7,500 email addresses, people who had gym owners who had bought my courses. And immediately I launched a 30-person mastermind through that letter, sent out as an email, a 3-sequence email, 30-person mastermind at $1,800 a month. Like,
what?
Yeah.
That's
right?
$54,000 a month.
So immediately my life, financially, my life changed.
Wait, so you paid 10 grand to go to Jolie Polish event, and then you started making 54,000 a month.
Yeah.
From one little trick.
Yeah. So when you think about that, if I were to DM Dean Graciosi, if I were to like his stuff, share his stuff, leave comments, on what planet is he going to send me that document, those letters, the physical letter? Never. But proximity is powerful,
He's going
right?
to send you a link to sign up for his mastermind.
Yeah, exactly. And so that is the beauty of things like Operation Blacksite, things like the project. Because one, people always ask me, well, how do I meet like-minded people? Yeah. Well, you come to events where like-minded people would hang out. How do I meet people that I can do business with? Well, what kind of business are you in? If it's, like, for example, you run the $100 million mastermind, right? These are high-level entrepreneurs. And if you want to meet other high-level entrepreneurs, do business with them, connect with them, network with them, pay to play. Yep. Proximity is power, and you can time collapse. So it doesn't matter if it's an experiential event like Operation Blacksite here, or the project, or the Squire Program, which we can dive deeper into. When you are within proximity of people, actual humans, breaking bread, shaking hands, connecting, all of a sudden you'll want to do more for me and I'll want to do more for you. That doesn't happen on social media at that level of frequency.
Yeah. So let's walk through these one by one. The Squire Program is the one I'm most emotional because you get to watch high school boys with their fathers go through it. I got to see it here at the ranch multiple times. Mm-hmm. This place is called, by the way, as you guys know, it's called Blacksite Ranch and Wild Jungle, WYLD. It's 26 acres. 8 acres is dedicated to animals. 4 acres is dedicated to training, where you get to see the gun training. We don't use live ammo here, just because it's loud, and we got zebras and ostriches and camels over there. We use airsoft guns while we're here, but you're getting trained by literally Navy SEALs, guys like Tim Kennedy, the guy fighting Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler. You're gonna have to wrestle with him on the mats. Like, you get to get trained by the high level people. So here at Blacksite Ranch, we also had the Squire Program multiple times, but even just recently, I just posted a video about it because it was so fascinating to watch. The sons literally had to wrestle the fathers in mud. And it was fun to see, like, that experience and how much they were, like, combating, but also helping each other and talking about it and going through, like, 14-year-old son, 42-year-old dad wrestling. It's fun to see. Can you walk us through the Squire Program? Yeah,
so I created the Squire Program because I realized that there was no rite of passage for young boys. When I say young boys, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds into manhood. There used to be, generationally speaking, hundreds of thousands of years ago, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years ago, a rite of passage where a young man goes through an experience called a rite of passage, right? That's why knights had squires. And it was the knight's job to mold that young man into a knight. And it was the squire's job to clean the sword, to clean the armor, to take care of the horse. And so every young man looks up to the older boys or to his father as a rite of passage into manhood. And he wants to know, do I have what it takes to be a man? It's the dad's job to show that young man, yes, you do. And it's the dad's job to bring other like-minded men to surround him and say, hey, help me mold my son into a capable, confident, savage servant. That stopped happening. This is why we have a high rate of depression, a high rate of anxiety, a high rate of lack of purpose in men today, is because the broken up families, whatever the case is, men are no longer mentoring their sons. And so sons are really not sure, like, am I a man yet? Do I have what it takes? Do I have strength, honor, courage, mastery, those 4 things that a man should have? So the Squire Program says, hey, dads, bring your sons for 12 hours. We're going to go through fun experiences. It's going to be challenging. You're going to be pulling a truck together. You're going to do ice bath. You're going to do hikes with logs and backpacks full of rocks and all that stuff. And then you're going to learn from awesome key people who are going to be able to pour into your life. And then at the end of the 12-hour experience, the dads guide the sons through a gauntlet of blindfolded, an obstacle course of bear trap, razor wire, 2x4s with rusty nails sticking out of it. And it's the father's job to guide that son through all those obstacles to the end of the obstacle course. And he takes off the blindfold, and the son looks back and he goes, holy cow.
Whoa.
I trusted you so much, Dad, that you took me through this experience at the end of 12 hours. Like, it's a bond that's so incredible. Every dad goes, I brought my son here to give him a rite of passage. I realized I needed this Squire Program experience as much as my son did. And to me, the Boy Scouts are no longer, or at least hardly exist. And I think this is the next iteration. And if we don't have a rite of passage for young men, then we're just one generation away from losing this great country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Mogi, let's walk us through that. What does that mean? It's a fun word.
Yeah, so I got to give a shout out to our friend Jesse Itzler, right? So I was hanging out with Jesse a couple years ago, and he goes, Bedros, this thing, the project that you run for men. I go, yeah. He goes, it's like a Mogi. I was like, Jesse, what's the Mogi?
Yeah, bless you.
Yeah, exactly. You want some allergy pills, Jesse? Right. That's such a good one. And I'm like, Jesse, what's the Mogi? He goes, oh, it's a Japanese cultural thing where at the beginning of a new year, some Japanese people will kind of do this purification ritual. They might find a cold waterfall and commit to standing under that cold waterfall for 4 to 5 hours straight and really make their commitment for the new year to come and wash away the old self and commit to new things they're going to do in the new year. And Mogi is literally this regeneration of the new you, right? I was like, oh, it's like a challenge that's a intention based for the new year. Yep. I was like, cool. Okay, I like that. So I was like, all right, well, all these people are reaching out to me and saying, hey, I don't want to do the project. It seems pretty violent.
Yes.
I don't want to have to ring a bell and quit on something that I paid money for. And we have over a 50% quit rate for the project, Whoa. Right? And it's 75 hours straight. And some people don't want to have their ass pounded in for 75 hours straight. And so I was like, all right, I got men and women reaching out to do something like the project, but not as intense. The Squire Program is 12 hours. Fathers and sons seem to love it. If I can take the Squire Program and make it for men and women, a 12-hour challenge with intention brought into it. Like, why are you doing this? I just got a divorce, or I just sold my business and I'm looking for my next sense of purpose. Or I know I need to break through some limiting beliefs that I have, like a glass ceiling's holding me and I need to break through. You come here with the new intention to the Mogi, and the Mogi experience, men and women, entrepreneurs, fathers, moms, whatever they are, we will put them through a 12-hour experience, no quitting and ringing the bell. It's not as intense as the project, but it is very purpose-driven to have you tell us what your intention is for the next 12 months, and then we'll put you through the Mogi. So while you might have 40 people going through the same experience, their end outcome, like you might say, hey, I want to save more animals. You might say, hey, I want to be able to donate more this year. Right? And then by the time you leave, because there's journaling involved, how are you going to donate more? Right. How are you going to save more animals? How am I going to help more fathers and sons bond and connect over the next 12 months? And that's what the Mogi is, man. It's like a group challenge, but with individual intention built into it. And it's just a beautiful thing for men and women to go through.
All right. The project, the one that's on your hand.
Yeah.
Walk us through the project.
So the project is a little different animal. I jokingly say that all men need it. Most men won't do it, and for those that do, 50% ring the bell and quit. The best way I could describe it is through the 4 pillars of the project, which is faith, family, fitness, and finance. As men, we need to have our 4 F-bombs dialed in: faith, family, fitness, and finance. When we do, we get the 5th F-bomb, which is fulfillment. And as men, don't we want fulfillment? Like, we want like significance, meaning, fulfillment. Well, faith, family, fitness, finance will get you there. And so it's usually for men who maybe are stuck in life. They don't have a brotherhood to belong to. We've had entrepreneurs go through it. We've had firefighters go through it. Police officers go through it. Former military guys that belong to units that were special operations, like Army Rangers, right? And then all of a sudden they're out of the military and they feel like, I lost my sense of purpose, I lost my team, I lost my mission. And so whether you're an entrepreneur, you're a firefighter, a police officer, or former military, and you lost your sense of purpose, mission, and team, the project is for you. It's a 75-hour experience, like think Navy SEAL Hell Week. And in fact, one of our head instructors is a Navy SEAL. The other 2 are former Marines, Marine Recon, and myself teaching the entrepreneurship and personal discipline part. And the 75 hours straight of the project, usually about 40 men will start, 18 to 20 will graduate. There's a bell there. You could ring and quit anytime. We hope that they don't. But it's got a 50% dropout rate. Why? Because they mentally give up before they physically do. They think they physically gave up, but it was a mental give up ahead of time. They negotiated with their inner critic. And so I share that with you because the men that graduate the 75-hour experience, they're actually all the junior instructors here.
Yeah.
Like they will fall over themselves to help the brotherhood, to be able to work together. Like we've got like guys that are senators, congressmen, professional gamblers, like guys who make money gambling, millions of dollars, dude that owns a fleet of private jets, firefighters, police officers, former military. I can't really put my finger on the ideal guy that does it, but he knows that he's lacking purpose. He knows that there's some vices that have control over him. He knows that he's alone and doesn't have a tribe of like-minded dudes, and he wants to test and challenge himself. That's who the project is for. Now, here's the magical part. The thing we don't show on Instagram, because we show them going through some hard stuff, right? Ice baths, crawling through the pit, staying awake for 36 hours at a time, going to the beach, and our Navy SEAL instructor putting them through beach torture. What we don't show is the in-classroom journaling where we talk about the worst things that happen in their life. Trauma, whether it's physical trauma, mental abuse, sexual abuse when they were kids, and how that's limiting their human experience, their marriage, their ability to be better fathers, better entrepreneurs. And we also heal through that experience. So I know that every dude who comes to the project has some trauma they need to work through. But if I just market it as, hey, come on, 40 of us are going to get together for 75 hours and talk about what happened to us as kids, right, I'll have exactly 0 men in the class. But if I'm like, hey, a Navy SEAL, 2 angry Marines, and myself, we're going to put you through this awesome experience where you get to do cool shit. I know, by the way, there's some healing involved, but you're going to learn how to make a lot of money and build a network of great dudes. They come, and it's a fun experience. And it's probably one of my most fulfilling things that I do, because it's only after every class I'll get at least 2 guys who reach out to me afterwards and say, I was thinking of taking my life before this, and I decided to do the project, and it's given me a new lease on life. And I don't get that kind of message from any other experience that I run.
All right. So together we have Operation Blacksite.
Mm-hmm.
We started that 3 years ago. Literally, it's happening as we speak. I can see people outside as we speak right now in the RV motorhome at Blacksite Ranch. Walk us through the concept of Operation Blacksite and why that one's an interesting one.
Well, first of all, we got to give credit to you, because it was just over 3 years ago that you texted me. You're like, hey, dude, I'm going to come to your office. I need to use the marker board for an hour, and I'm going to pitch you something. I was like, Dan, and we had been talking about for years about doing business together, working together. And you're like, all right, imagine the project, but no, there's no bleeding, because there is a lot of bloodshed in the project. Guys will like get cut, and they might break a finger, whatever. Yeah, torn muscles.
I asked for one
whatever.
thing. I said no blood. Right?
Yeah,
I was whiteboarding, and I was like, there's no blood.
Yeah. So Dan's pitch to me was like, no blood, no one quits. It's for male and female entrepreneurs. Yep. And we teach them how to be their own bodyguard. We teach them how to be their own like superhero.
Laura Croft.
Right? Exactly.
Jason Bourne.
And so, dude, the way you pitched it was so perfect. You're like, what if we got the best of the best, like Tim Kennedy and Michael Chandler, like a UFC fighters and Green Berets and Navy SEALs to teach them. But they're not just being rough and tumble with these people like we are at the project. At the project, we're very rough and tumble with them. Here, it's a very different experience. We have lunch served. We have Gatorade. We have, junior instructors taking care of you. If you need, we have sunscreen, whatever, right? It's a very white glove experience to help you become your own bodyguard, to become a human weapon. And I think now more than ever it's necessary, because post 2020, we see where the world has gotten to. Cops aren't in Austin. Right. Unless you're literally in the moment being shot or stabbed, cops aren't even coming out, right?
Especially not in LA.
Not in LA, not in San Francisco.
You actually get in trouble to stop the criminals in LA.
Right.
Like literally in trouble.
Yeah. So you have to be your own first line of defense. And who better to learn from than some of the most articulate savages on the planet? UFC fighter Michael Chandler, Tim Kennedy, Green Beret, and literally he's like Captain America.
Right. Tony Blauer, 40 years of
40
training.
years of tactical training of
Right.
every special operations community on the planet.
Steve Eckert's yelling at you, so you still get the full experience.
Yeah.
You still
yeah,
get Steve Eckert yelling at
yeah.
you.
And then in between, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you and I bring in some
Right.
awesome guests
Yeah.
who take these male and female entrepreneurs and educate them. Like we bring in some high capacity, high level entrepreneurs and guests where they can learn from to scale their businesses, to scale their leadership skills, to scale their marketing, to scale their sales system. And then you go back to doing the training,
Right.
whether
They
it's
didn't even know that Tim Grover's walking in, Dave Meltzer, Carl
Right.
Hatter, guys that get 50,000, 100,000 a speech. Just all this weekend, we're just walking in like,
Yep.
hey guys, start
Yeah.
teaching them about business and life.
And the cool thing about Operation Blacksite is the way we do it is it's a 12-month experience. So they get 3 experiences, and people that have never shot a pistol before, how often do we ask them, like, okay, who went and bought a pistol now when they come to the second experience? Oh, I bought a pistol.
Yeah.
Who's applying for their concealed carry permit? Oh my God, I'm getting my concealed carry permit. Well, how come? Now they feel confident and capable with the pistol, and they learn from one of the best in the industry. And we have a full-on shoot house that we built out here with like many different rooms and levels to it, etc. And I think Operation Blacksite really takes the best of the project, the Squire Program, and Mogi, and puts it in a place for male and female entrepreneurs can come and learn and benefit from.
So right now, Operation Blacksite is quarterly. My goal, my dream, and we're going to turn into reality is to make it monthly. And at some point, we might even build it where like it can happen all the time.
Right. Exactly.
Tarzan, you just went through Operation Blacksite again. Walk us through your experience, even though you were training also, because you did a fear training. You brought out these 15-foot snakes and made each of the guests and members here wear the snake and get over that fear of wearing a 15-foot snake. So outside of the training part of it, walk us through as an experience, because you went through and you were wrestling with literally Tim Kennedy and Michael Chandler. Walk us through learning how to shoot and fight and escape out of handcuffs from these guys.
It's a beautiful thing, man. Honestly, it's my 5th Operation Blacksite. We did 4 last year. This is the 1-year anniversary, actually. Well, at least on the ranch. And it's been great, man. Seeing all the you guys are so in sync with putting everybody in the shoot house, putting everybody there, flip-flopping them, 5 o'clock in the morning training, and you see, like you said, from the first one, the second one to the third one, everybody's getting more comfortable. Yep. They're communicating more. It's magic, man. And then we got these motivational speakers to get me amped up. We got Tim Grover, the same guy that's been coaching Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. He's coming here giving you insight on how to be a savage. Tim's showing you how to shoot and protect your family and what it takes to be like aware in these chaotic situations. Yeah. Michael Chandler's showing you how to slow down and methodically wrestle and punch and build up for a fight, train right, not eat bull crap and feel confident going into battle. Yeah. And you see these guys and they're so nice, they're so sweet, they're so welcoming.
And
you
so
see
deadly.
them, it's so deadly, And from someone like myself that I'm like I'm street smart, and I'm animal instinctual, so I'm always sitting back and looking around. And when I first saw these guys, I'm like, bro, these guys, I can feel something
For
about
sure.
these men. They ain't just normal.
Yeah.
Just guys lifting in the gym thinking they're tough guys. Some of these guys
they're cut from a different
cloth, and you can feel it. And seeing them interact with the women and the kids and. People that are not necessarily slacking, but don't have the physical attributes to keep up at 5 o'clock in the morning going up the hill, and see how supportive they are. And then seeing the level of someone that is fit, that's dying, and Steve's like, get your ass up, and it's cool to see the dope balance. I'm here seeing you guys come through and do the project for a few hours, and I'm like, bro, that is intense.
Yeah.
And I see Squire from a distance, and it's heartwarming.
Right.
It's like I love to see the levels of. Not only just the levels of it, it's just the commitment from everybody.
Yeah.
The guys are walking around with the same tats on the same hand.
Right.
Like, these guys are brothers, man.
Yeah.
This is what a community, it takes a village to raise.
That's it.
To raise a man, And even myself, I learned so much.
For sure.
And within, I attached myself to one of the big fitness trainers, Byron. Every day we're working out. He's driving an hour and a half from Santa Clarita, wherever he lives at, and we're working out every day. I'm talking to Tim, all the time about my travels. Like, hey, send me your location so I can know you're safe and anywhere around the world. You got Chris,
I'm safe as Tim
exactly. Chris texting me, hey, if you need anything, So it's cool to have this network of fellas around. They call randomly on random Thursdays when there's Blacksite 3 months away. And like, hey, just check it on, see how you're doing. Did you go to the gym today? Did you work out? You know, and I love the accountability everybody keeps. You know, so it's cool, man. It's a great healthy, you know, group of people to be around. Even if it's 3 days, you know, four times a year, it's fully changed me as a person. You know, so I can't even imagine people going through it in depth and detail.
Right.
You know, being in there every single course. You know, so it's beautiful, man.
And think about this too, right? The last Operation Blacksite class that we ran 3 months ago, your friend and business partner Vince, who owns Elevator Studios,
or Hubble Studio,
Hubble Studios, like he had learned these things, and he's got a concealed carry permit, and we saw the footage from his home security system,
hundreds of millions of views,
right? Like he's literally coming home from the gym, and in behind him come two dudes with guns, and they try and get his attention unbeknownst to him as he's at his front door. He sees that they have pistols.
With his wife and baby inside.
Right.
Behind that door.
Obviously, those bad guys had an intention to get in that house and do bad things.
Yes.
And they had no idea that your friend and business partner, Vince, was trained in carrying a pistol.
Yep.
And he was able to handle those two guys.
In 1.4 seconds.
Within 1.4 seconds. And got cover, shot back, they took off, protected his family. Who knows what could have happened? So when people go, but this doesn't happen to me. It sounds like really cool stuff. I get to be my own bodyguard. I get to learn these skills, but could it happen to me? It happened to someone we know.
On camera.
On camera, right? And let's face it, when you're calling the police, odds are they're not coming to save the day. They're coming to take the report. Like, you are your first line of defense. And if you're a high-level entrepreneur, or you have a family member that maybe could get kidnapped and then you could get hit up for ransom money, you probably want them to learn from Chris Weichman on how to, I mean, the guy's a SEER instructor, right? Which is to survive, escape, resist, and evade.
He kidnapped me on Friday, by the way.
Right. That's what I heard, yeah.
You're going to see that on TV. He literally put a hood over my head and threw me in the back of a trunk.
So
I did escape, though.
So imagine that. Knowing that if, God forbid, you get kidnapped, zip-tied, handcuffed, how to talk your way out of it, how to find, leave crumbs for your future rescuers, how to be able to tell where you're going, how to wordsmith them to humanize yourself, and then worst case scenario, if you're left alone, how to break out of the handcuffs, zip ties, duct tape, so that you can find safety.
The only reason I escaped is what I learned from him 3 months prior.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd still be in the back of that trunk.
Right.
Or worse.
And then what do the cops do when they come? They just draw a chalk mark around your body, right? And they notify your next of kin, well, I'm so sorry this happened, but here's a report.
Right.
Like, I don't want that. I want to be able to survive. I want my family to be able to survive and then live to tell the story.
All right, Bedros, last question. As I mentioned at the beginning, there are a line of people that are paying you $100,000 for one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
You were only able to take 50 because, holy smokes, that's a lot of work. And luckily you put in the work and you have the efficiency to handle 50 of these clients at $100,000 each. So you guys can do the math at home. Why is it important for people, whether they're spending 10 grand for a coach, 25 grand, 50 grand, 100,000 for the most elite coaches? Why is it important for people in business, especially, to bring on coaches and mentors?
Yeah. So I say this to all of my domination year coaching clients, right? And remember, I teach specifically entrepreneurs how to scale their business and time collapse that process, as in get 3 years of results in 12 months, which is why we call it domination year. The reality is success leaves clues. Like, you've done things already and you've figured out what doesn't work.
For sure.
You've wasted time, money, and energy figuring out what doesn't work.
And who doesn't work.
I want to pay you money and who doesn't work. Right. Exactly. I want to pay you money to avoid those mistakes and get the cheat code. You figured out how to grow your Instagram at a clip of 100,000 every 3 days. I want to pay you money to learn what works and to avoid all the mistakes that you had to go through. That is the beautiful thing about coaching. Success leaves clues. Someone out there has already achieved what you want to achieve. Pay them, get the blueprint. Why try and figure it out on your own? That's just functionally stupid to do. Yeah.
All right, guys. We wanted to do this special episode because Bedros happened to be here for Operation Blacksite. We're going to try to drag him into the RV motorhome multiple times throughout the year because, as I mentioned, he has built 600 locations of business for his Fit Body boot camps. He has built his coaching business, his fitness events, his training, his coaching, everything in between. So you get all these interesting nuggets. That's what we wanted to walk through, some of those events and why it's important for you guys to consider masterminds, coaching, getting trained to become a human weapon, all the types of things that you heard today. We have the Aspire Tour, which is a very inexpensive event that goes around the country with 2,000 to 4,000 people per city. We do the 100 million mastermind here, as Bedros mentioned, which is actually coming up right now, probably the week after you guys hear this one. That's our 5-year anniversary. That's $100,000 per person. Everyone there has at least a $5 million company or higher. It's $100,000 a year, going into our 5th year for that one since 2019. That one is, to me, my most emotional one because I started it as a passion project to make the most, high-end experience weekend, because we go to and we've all been to and we speak at a lot of masterminds that are just in like a hotel ballroom and then you leave. And so I wanted to make this with like celebrities and athletes and stadiums and arenas and make it fun, crazy experience. And then we have the Money Is Mastermind, 706 members, $15,000 each. And we add 60 to 100 new members every single month.
Huge.
We have the Power Room Mastermind, $30,000. There's 114 members in that one. We have the Chairman's Club, $50,000. That one we keep small. That's around 50 people. We might add some more people to it. And then the 100 Million Mastermind is my baby, which is the one right around the time that you guys are hearing this. We do that 4 times throughout the year. Bedros has walked you through real life training. You guys can sign up or check out websites to find out more about these things. And maybe it's not for yourself. It might be for your husband, your wife, your parents, your friends, people in your circle, coworkers, etc. You might want to buy it as a gift. But coaching changes your life. Even though I speak at a lot of events, I sit front row when my friends speak. If you notice, when you spoke today, what did I do?
Yep, right there.
I pushed Michael Chandler out of the way, 1 seat over, not too hard because I don't want him to hit me. I pushed Michael Chandler 1 seat over, and I sat front row to listen to Bedros, my dear friend, for half a decade or longer. I literally sat front row to still learn. So even though I'm also the speaker, I'm still learning. And by the way, Tarzan did the same thing. And did I just mention that Michael Chandler was sitting front row? The guy fighting Conor McGregor was sitting front row to listen to his dear friend, Bedros, speak. Because when you get to a certain business level or a life level, think about what one little adjustment does. What if I would learn one thing from Bedros? Let's say I'm doing X amount of millions of dollars a year, and Bedros teaches me something that changes it by 3%. And let's just say I'm doing 10 million. Well, that just changed my life by $300,000 a year. So what if you're sitting there right now listening, you do $1 million a year, and someone can coach you or teach you how to save or make 3% a year? That's $30,000 a year over and over and over, and that information doesn't go away.
Right.
So you could pay someone as a coach once, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. There's plenty of free events, by the way. I have elevator nights that are free. We throw those all the time. Bedros still has events that are free that you can come for. These live events where they're $500 or $1,000 for a ticket, for things like they're affordable or free events also. So I don't want to say that everything has to be $30,000, $50,000, $100,000. I want you to understand there's plenty of things you can learn on YouTube and social media, but to really learn and get what they say like knees to knees or chest to chest with people, it is better to be in the room. So if you can, and when you're able to, especially if you guys are listening, you have a business. If you have a business doing millions of dollars, you have to get coaching and mentors. You have to. The efficiencies of learning how to do your taxes better, how to do your hiring better, how to do your firing better, how to do your sales better, it changes the entire course of your business. And that all compounds. So as you listen to Bedros, as you listen to Tarzan today, be the person that's sitting front row. Go online, research as much as you can. Check out a lot of things that you heard today from Squire Program, Mogi, the project, Operation Blacksite, etc. Check these things out. Research for yourself or for your friends and family. And most importantly, have these real life discussions with your friends, family, and followers about why they should be getting coached, why they should be going to events, why you should be talking about money. That's the whole concept of Money Mondays and why we've been out there and been able to be the #1 entrepreneur podcast for 43 out of the 52 weeks since we started this thing. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow Bedros Keuilian on social media. You're probably already following The Real Tarzan, and we will see you guys next Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Money Mondays. We have a very special guest for this evening. When I say evening, it is late night here at the ranch. We're at the Wild Jungle, 26 acres of animals. I got the Real Tarzan sitting next to me, 206 animals outside. We just did the Operation Blacksite event all day long with Navy SEALs, gun training, UFC fighting with Michael Chandler. There's a lot going on. And after all that, this guy just did the closing speech at Operation Blacksite 5 minutes ago. And we ran over to the RV motorhome to make a podcast for you guys because it is important to have these discussions about money. We all grew up thinking it's rude to talk about money, and we here think it's rude to not talk about money. And so we cover 3 core topics: how to make money, how to invest money, how to give it away to charity. Typically, we do the podcast for under 40 minutes because the average workout is 45 minutes. The average commute to work is 45 minutes. So we'd like to keep these podcasts to 35 to 40 minutes for you guys so you know what you're in for. And that is why the podcast has been number 1 in the entrepreneur category for 43 out of the 52 weeks since we started this podcast. So I'm co-hosted here with The Real Tarzan. As I always say, The Real Tarzan gets over 200 million views a month across social media, except he's going to have over 200 million views just this month, just on Instagram. So I actually have no idea what his total number is across all the platforms because he broke 200 million just on Instagram just in the month of January.
Crazy.
It is literally crazy.
Nonstop.
So our guest today is a speaker. He throws his own events. He built a furniture store that does tens of millions of dollars in revenue. I'm going to let him tell his story. So please give a warm round of applause to Mr. Erik Rock.
What's up, guys? Thank you.
Woo! All right, so the way it works here is we ask you if you can do a quick 2-minute bio so we can get straight to the money.
Oh, bio. Okay. So let's see. I grew up in Nevada. I now live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And I think the thing that got me out of hell in my life was entrepreneurship. Diving all in. So for over a decade, we built and curated one of the coolest stores, I think, in America. It's called Consignment Furniture and Jewelry, but it's the largest furniture and jewelry consignment stores in the country we built. We're in Nevada, Washington, Idaho. We serve several states that are around those areas, and that was sort of the core business that introduced me to the world of entrepreneurship. And it's funny, the whole story for me started on a blow-up mattress in an upstairs office with 2 free months of rent in an industry I knew nothing about. So the journey's been profound. It's been really fun. And that led me to a life of real estate investing and this next chapter's impact. So here I am.
I like it.
Yep.
So on the making money side, how does and why did you go down the path of furniture and jewelry?
Yeah, that's a good question. Opportunities come in funny ways. You never know. When you're making an investment, oftentimes it doesn't feel like an opportunity. A lot of times it feels like an expense. And it's cool now to be able to teach this to people because I think opportunities are everywhere. But at least I had the wherewithal at 28 years old, 27 years old actually, to say yes to an opportunity. So there was a furniture store that had gone out of business. It was just a small consignment store. And we loved the whole concept of this thing, not needing money tied up in inventory. It just seemed genius. And so as a family, we went all in on it. And that was where we got our start. So knowing nothing about the business, all I knew is that if this fails, it's on us. And that was enough to get me started.
So as someone is deciding, like, you know what, I need to make some more money. Life is expensive. I'm working my job. I'm making $15 an hour. Things aren't really, not building up enough income. What would you say to someone that's ready to make the leap to start making more money and finally realizing that it's time to make more money?
Yeah, most people are slaves. They're slaves to the dollar. They're slaves to the people that understand the game. They understand leverage and ownership. I love this conversation, and I love working with people that are at that place where they're ready to break something, do something different. Most people are stuck in life. How many times do you hear this? I feel stuck. Everyone's stuck, man. It's hard. Life's not easy, but I would say in this country, in America, next time you're on a plane, you're flying into Vegas, you're flying into LA, look down at the ground, all those things down there, someone built those. There's an entrepreneur behind every single thing that's ever been built. And that alone is profound enough, I think, for you to start trying to think differently. But a lot of people don't know the rules to the game. They're playing by a different set of standards and rules than the ultra wealthy, than people that have means and have a little bit of freedom. But there are levels to this. And every level, I think the rules change. And that's what's cool, is trying to figure out like how to break the code, how to advance your position in life.
So for you sitting out there right now, listening to this podcast, you have an electronic device, whether you're listening on a cell phone, a laptop, or whatever device you're listening on. And now on that electronic device, you probably have Wi-Fi because you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, etc. Maybe it's on YouTube. That means, by definition, you have access to the whole wide world in your literal phone or laptop on your fingertips. And inside of that laptop, inside of that phone, inside of that electronic device, there are mobile apps. There are websites that you can make money right this second. You can set up a profile to go be a dog walker, to go house sit for someone, to go rent out your extra bedroom in your apartment, for you to be a chef, for you to be a Spanish tutor, for you to teach the guitar, for you to literally do any skill, or not really a skill like house sitting or walking a dog, to make money right now. Outside of the obvious, you could be an Uber driver, Postmates, Uber Eats, Instacart, etc., and make extra money that way. you can pick up a skill, go get training, and learn how to do injections and make $150 a pop. Go do IVs at $250 a pop. These are things that you can get your certification in weeks or months.
Yep.
And start making real money, like real money. If you're good at being a hairstylist, you're good at doing makeup, you're good at doing massage, you can actually sign up for apps and start doing that immediately to make extra money right this second. There is no excuse.
Yep.
I know 15-year-olds that make 10 grand a month.
It's powerful.
Editing video clips for $100 a pop, $200 a pop. That adds up. You do 2 videos a day at $200, $150 a pop. Times that by 30, you're making 10 grand. You're 15 years old.
Right.
There is no excuse for you listening right now to make more money. And by the way, if it's not you, I could be talking to your sons, daughters, nephews, uncles, nieces, friends, people that are just deadbeat and owe you money for rent and they're staying in your extra room. Like, there are ways for you to make money right this second from your cell phones and laptops. So as you're listening to podcasts like this and you're hearing us talk about money, there are ways for you to make money, and they are literally in your hand right this second. Erik, as you start to build a business, you go from 1 store to 2 stores to 3 stores to 4 stores, etc. When do you decide to take some of the capital from your core business to start investing into real estate?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's funny, I've said this a million times, and I became partners with a billionaire who's like a second father to me. I've become very close with him, and it's amazing. He told me something that I resonated with so well. He owns stores, thousands of stores all across the world, rental equipment. He rents out scissor lifts, booms, but he said it really good, and it resonated with the reality of kind of what I did at just a smaller scale. But he said, man, it felt like every year, 40 years in business, every single year, the business would do just enough money to squeeze out one piece of real estate. Every store could do it felt like it was barely surviving. It could do just enough to leverage one piece of dirt. And he did that over and over and over again. And I've always thought, like, all the big bangs for me, all the big wins, they came from dirt that, like, inadvertently I was able to squeeze out of one of the years of the business, here or here or here. And it's amazing, especially through that period of time we had pre-COVID and then COVID. Amazing how that land appreciated, all that dirt, all that money, all that equity just seemed to show up on the buildings that we buy. All that equity just showed up. And from there, the game of refinance, putting the money into new things. Once you get the spark and you know the rules to the game, your life will change. I would say get an engine first, though. So when we have an engine that's working and we understand the advantages of taxes and really how to leverage all this, now we would probably lose money if we don't buy buildings. So somehow the business, learning the business first, going all in on one thing, getting really good at one thing. Inadvertently, if you could pair that with real estate, I mean, this is real estate to me is the ultimate vehicle in life. At some point, you're going to realize you're stupid if you don't. You're actually dumb if you don't buy real estate. Like, historically, is the dumbest thing that you can do is not buy dirt, because that dirt has kept us from paying taxes. We have so much depreciation. Like, we're saving so much money because we understand the same rules that Warren Buffett understands, and that's power right there.
Tarzan, we bought some dirt here. We're sitting on 26 acres. 8 acres is dedicated for you in the wild jungle and growing, because we're going to take some pieces, a couple acres out and add more animals and more sections. So ultimately, almost half of this Blacksite Ranch and wild jungle combined is dedicated to the animals. Spent $3.1 million building out the animal section to make them happy-go-lucky, big sections, big areas where zebras and horses and camels and ostriches could run, have a full acre, half an acre, a quarter acre, 2 acres, etc. for their spaces. Talk us through why it's important for animals to have the space that we do, because we've given them lots and lots of space. What are some other things that you'd like to see happen over the course of time, and why is the wild jungle important to you?
Great question. The aspect of the space is for enrichment. Animals in captivity, they used to be wild animals, DNA-wise. So they carry a lot of characteristics or traits, whether they hang out in a herd, or some hang out in a troop, or some are solo, or some have a mate, or some have 40 mates, so you got to be able to use like different techniques and shifting animals in pens, like camels, for instance. Camels really can't be on grass. So most people will get grass in captivity and put camels on grass. Well, where does a camel live? It lives in a desert, so whenever it sees vegetation, it's going to eat it. So if the camel's also peeing and pooping on grass and also eating the grass, it's going to get an infection, it's going to get bacteria, it's going to get something that it's not supposed to have normally in the wild. we keep our camels on dirt, but a big plot of dirt. So we're just eliminating the aspect that they're going to eat any vegetation that can, in return, cause them a infection, some bacteria, even death. Usually just liquefies them. They poop all day, and they just don't make it. And that's the number one killer of camels in captivity, is that little aspect. So when you take an animal and you give it space, and you give it a mate, and you give it something that also shares the same territory as it would in the wild, like ostriches, camels, zebras, tortoises, and you make a terrain, or you make a little ecosystem, you can shift them around and keep them happy and healthy, and with our 8 acres and 13 acres, the wild jungle is going to be lots of forts that are big, lots of places and plots of land that are big that can help animals that are in captivity reach that enrichment. We have snakes and stuff, or lizards, or we got a pond we built here. I saw that. And a lot of people keep lizards. We love lizards in the reptile world.
What are you doing with the pond that's right here that looks like they're just finishing it?
Komodo Island.
Komodo Island.
Komodo Island.
Yeah.
Dope. If you haven't seen it, you could go see Komodo Island.
We got our big lizards, and they get to swim deep versus swimming in a small bowl, but it keeps them, mentally happy and healthy, where you can work with it. A stress-free animal is a great animal to work with in captivity, because you can get close to it, you can check on it, you can medicate it, you can pair it with something, because you're so in tune with that animal, and you're trying to give it its longest life.
Sure.
So the wild jungle is like a real passion project, because I spend my lifetime with animals, so being with different species, being with different staff, we got like 13 guys now here. Helping out.
You can feel how much work goes into this place. It's a business for sure. What a great use of the dirt, though.
Yeah, man.
And it's cool that you get to do your passion as part of the whole game.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it doesn't get better than that. What a way to live life.
And also to have Blacksite Ranch going on right next to it, and no animal stressed out. It's just it's such a great balance we have. Where these guys all love and appreciate animals. They got all types of military stuff going on, and the animals, they see them when they run by in the morning, like, hey, what's up? And on their morning feeds and stuff. So it's cool to be able to utilize something like Blacksite, or doing weather events, or just doing something different, that can bring less stress for the animals, but also still bring them up.
Sure.
So it's a big, huge project, and you've been leading the way, man. He's been putting different pieces of the wild jungle together so we can utilize all the finances and monetizing it. 200 million views a month we're averaging crazy over here. We're trying to get the neighbors so we can make a safari, dude.
We're definitely.
What's an animal that you want to bring in? What's like a dream animal that you'd want to have on the property here?
Kangaroos.
Oh, cool. I want a squat of kangaroos.
That'd be cool.
So mob the kangaroos.
They can punch me, kick me, I don't care.
I saw the grass kangaroo over there.
Is that real?
Yeah, that's not real.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
that was made by the plant guy.
Yes,
that was made by the plant guy.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Okay, Erik. So you started last year, every single Thursday, throwing events in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Yeah.
Walk us through the concept. Why do you do it? That's a lot of time and energy. Why is it important to you? Who's coming? What's going on there?
Yeah, it's called Man on a Mission. The whole thing started with a podcast. I knew if I was ever going to get to the version of myself that was going to, honestly, I'll just say it like how I say it. Like, what kind of version of Erik Rock was going to stand next to God at death and be okay with what I did on this earth? Somehow I connected the thread of that thought to doing the scariest things, and impact being the dominating force that kind of connected me to that emotion. And my scariest thing is talking in front of people. It's these fucking cameras, like all that. I avoid it. I dreaded it for years, like the plague. But I'd see people, man, there was always something inside me that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I started getting around people that were serving at high levels, and I started losing people. People started dying that I was really close to. And that death just hit me in so many profound ways. And as I was trying to grapple with the reality that mortality is when you're a kid, it's like you always think death is so far away. And then you get a little bit older and you start losing people and you realize, fuck, it wasn't that long ago before they were my age. This is going to go quick. And that thought haunted me at night. It just bothered me. So somehow the work I'm doing now, because I don't need to do this has had to be about a why that would push me past my own insecurities. And I really started getting around people that were serving at the highest levels. Ed Milet was one of the first people that I invested into, and the outcome of that investment was me stepping in the light, overcoming my insecurities. And essentially what we did up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is we built our own stage. We built our own audience, our own community, and every single Thursday, I'm challenging myself to flex out in front of that audience in one of the most beautiful locations in America, right on this gorgeous lake with a floating green, and we bring value to the community. We challenge people to step in the light, find their voice. We do mini TED Talks. Everyone has a chance to tell their story, elevate their brand, and we really try to slay dragons together. What is the scary things we're not doing? Somehow the seed of that motivation, inspiration every Thursday out of our local community has turned into a really powerful movement. It's helped the brand. It's helped the podcast. Everything I'm doing now in the forefront with personal brand is crazy how many other resources along the way I've realized are there. It's sort of fun to teach this now because I think it's almost like a franchise model that anyone can run with. Many people do similar things actually. But what it's done for me is it's given me fulfillment and happiness. That's the main thing. Money didn't really give me happiness in the way that I hoped it would when I started getting the material once, because they all kind of got normal really quick. But impact is different. Impact is fun, and it touches my heart when you think about how many children are suffering, how much pain is out there, how much how much evil is out there. Somehow this work now gives me a purpose and a meaning. It gives me a mission, and we built a whole brand around it, and the impact is what it's all really about.
So 2 years ago, you weren't really speaking.
No.
You said you were nervous. You weren't going to go on camera. You weren't really doing much social media. You brought on Ed Milet to help guide the way. You became close with Jessie Lee, one of our mutual friends, who sadly passed away. She was a shining light, and on many stages and doing a ton of social media content. And I watched your evolution the last 2 years in particular. Obviously, you were doing it before, but the last 2 years in particular, when being surrounded by greatness like Ed and like Jessie. Tell us about that transition and why you decided to finally step into the light.
Brother, I think it's like this, man. There's a lot of people out there. We've said they feel stuck, or they're meant for more. I hear this all the time. You've really got to murder your old self. You have to. I knew when I started getting around greatness, you know what it feels like when you're around people that are just great. They're doing life on a different frequency, different vibration at the highest levels. It's always serving, I've found, is the thing that connects the greatest people in the world. They serve at high capacity. And they're thinking way past money. You know what I mean? I think they're literally thinking about God and how they serve. And you get around that energy, and it's clear. For me, it was clear. I got to murder myself. I have got to destroy this air. He can't exist anymore. And that was super scary. I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it, but I knew there had to be the ROI I was looking for in the investments I made with Ed, as I just needed a visible, seeable, different Erik Rock, someone that was so different that next year, anyone that's around me is going to say, holy shit, man, what happened to you? Like crazy. And that was going to force me into the light, into the scariest things that I do on a regular basis, and just be consistent with it. And I think the thing that I did, which most people do, I would assume, when they murder themselves, is we create a new identity. And that new identity, I wouldn't look at it as like a 75 hard program, because that has an end date. I said, I'm just going to do this the rest of my life. I'm going to put the gas pedal down. I'm going to do it professionally. I'm going to bring on teams, great people, all them. I'm going to make all the investments. I'm just going to do what it takes. I'm going to treat it like a business, but I'm going to go all in on this investment, and I'm going to murder the old Erik Rock. And that's when it slowly starts happening. You don't see it at first. It's one listener at a time. Forget followers. Just get a few listeners and just stay with old versions of you. I know that this Erik can help the 2010 Erik, the 2012 Erik, the 2014 Erik. I've said this so many times. That was profound enough for me to start doing this work. I didn't need to make it about anything else. I didn't need to make it about myself. I just thought about the kid that was suffering in 2008, 2002 when I graduated high school. That was probably the worst version of me. I don't even want to remember those years, but I would say that there were so many nights when I thought, am I going to wake up tomorrow morning? Like, it was that fucked in my life. And so when I think about serving now, it's like, just hold that kid's hand. Makes this so much easier, because you can get so overwhelmed with all the noise, all the cameras, and you touch a hot oven, it's hot, you don't want to touch it anymore. You better create some powerful connections to why you're doing this. And for me, that was just enough to keep me showing up over and over and over again. And from there, momentum starts to come in. And you know the game with momentum. That's when it's time to gas pedal down. And that's kind of right where I feel like I'm at. I'm about to go start kicking down a lot of fucking doors. Why not? I'm going to die. Like, it's just an easy thought. It's easy connections. And I realize now fear will probably be with me the rest of my life. I just got to roll with it. I'm just always going to be there, because it's so far for me. It hasn't felt any different. I just spoke at your event tonight. Heartbeats fluttering out of my chest. My stomach feels like it's going to throw up. My mouth's real dry. And here I am bleeding, motherfucker. Like, this is how I have to talk. This is how I have to be in order to give all of what I have to the world. I don't know how to curate it. And so it comes out how it comes out, but that's what it looks like to step into fear and do it anyway.
Tarzan, are there animals that you are scared of?
Humans.
Oh, that's good.
That's always our
So good.
our favorite thing to say, you know, because being with animals is, you know, I'm also the voice for the animals, the voice of the voiceless, you know, and
So good.
if I were to be a human and ask another human, like, you know, what's the most dangerous animal? They could say, oh, a tiger because it rips you up, or a shark because this, or, and it's like, yeah, but no, as humans, you know, because we talked earlier, you know, and it was like, humans, they'll smile in your face and they'll want to eat you later. They'll stab you in the back, you know, they'll set you up nice and ride off with all your stuff, you know, and you'll leave you with nothing, and they'll feel nothing about you having zero. They kill you for it, you know, or a tiger ain't gonna say, oh, look at this little human over here. Oh, I'm gonna purr and rub against this human's leg, and then when I get behind him, I'm gonna, you know, bite him in the back of the head. No, the tiger's coming straight at you, you know. Or that shark swimming, he's like, hey, what's up, dude? Cool, enjoy water, you know, and he just keeps swimming. Or he's like, ooh, I'm gonna eat that thing.
It's pure innocence.
You know, that shark ain't gonna be your friend and eat you later. It might even make the wrong move, you know. But
4 days ago, Tarzan.
one shark diving.
I saw him put his hand on the shark's face and just kind of move it out of the way.
Where were you?
I went to Hawaii, not too far away from Cali, where we're at now. And I got some friends over there that do one ocean diving. And they are literally the kings and the queens of all of the sea. They hang out and swim with great white sharks.
Right.
Come on.
Bro, I'm talking like 22 foot.
I know, but you weren't even
long.
wearing anything. Like, you weren't wearing that.
Bro, you don't have to. You got teachers like that, you can trust them.
Damn,
you know?
that's crazy.
They roll up and
hold
swim
on.
deep,
Would you swim with a
bro.
great white shark?
100.
What?
Would you swim with a great You just said it so casual. I just want to be clear.
Yeah. Oh, bro. They swim with tiger sharks, sandbar sharks.
They swim with them.
They bull sharks. You know, I mean, there's a
don't
plethora of sharks out there. Black tip sharks. Bro,
That's
there's
real.
white sharks.
You got a picture?
Oh, we got tons of
Tell-
pictures,
tell
tons of
us Instagram
videos.
right now.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
But, you know, they swim with tiger sharks, and they do shark surveys.
Yeah.
They do shark conservation. They remove hooks off of sharks.
Yeah.
They're doing everything to stop shark fin soup. They're changing laws where people can't
Amazing.
just go kill sharks for no reason.
it, yeah.
There's like 100 million sharks killed every year by humans.
Sure.
And there's like, I don't know, like 8 or 18 human deaths by sharks in the last like 25 years or something
Humans
like
are
that.
vicious, man.
You know, so when you really think about how big the ocean is and how many sharks are out there, yeah, that's. Let me see that one.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
That's Ocean Ramsey.
Yeah, it's Ocean Ramses, bro. Like, bro,
Come
do you
on.
see that shark? That's not fake.
That's
It's not
crazy.
CGI. That's
So-
a real, living, breathing, swimming thing that they call a great white shark, and she's just rolling with it,
incredible.
hanging out with it, moving it, saying, "Hey, bro,
Yeah.
it's nuts, dog. How these people understand
Yeah.
the world underneath the surface.
That's
It's
wild.
deep, bro, and they just go off the shore. They're literally living on the beach, born and raised in that same area where they do their shark surveys, and they do them all around the world. She told me she swam with an orca. She didn't have her camera with her, and I like came up and was like hanging out with her.
Would you rather swim with an orca or a great white?
Both, you know, an orca all day.
Who are you more scared of?
Neither, bro. You go
No,
with a
no,
teacher.
no
You don't,
fear.
I'm not saying this as like be a random person, go on a boat and jump in the water and go try to hang out with a shark.
Please
You
don't
don't do that.
Please don't do that.
Don't do that. You know,
I'm not doing it.
Again, and with me talking about Ocean Ramses and one sharks and one ocean diving, those are teachers.
Sure.
You follow. I'm a student, so you follow what the teachers do, what they say, and they lead by an example. It's up to you to make that decision if you want to be a marine biologist, herpetologist, primatologist, and go in those footsteps. You know, swimming with an orca. You know, you go with someone that's been swimming with orcas. You know, that's swim, or go to Norway. There's a gangster program that does. It's like anti-SeaWorld, anti-whales in captivity, anti-poaching. They stop all types of stuff, and they're just doing great conservation, swimming with orcas, dude. Not geo footage, Netflix footage, animal planet footage of orcas, just like pods that can study them. Yeah. They're such an intelligent creature. This is the apex predator on the planet. That thing could eat an elephant if it had legs to eat elephants. Sure. That's how gangster an orca is. They eat great white sharks for lunch, bro. They just eat the kidneys or livers and they're like, fuck out of here. They beat up whales. You ever seen a whale? We seen 3 whales the same day. That's cool. There was a female whale and there was 2 males jumping after it, swimming next to it, trying to mate with it. It was insane. I saw a whale breach for the first time in person, dude. Yeah, this is
you see inspired
it's
people.
It's like, you
do what they
I
love.
could go on off all day. You know, I haven't had a chance to like give give them the real proper thank you. For bringing one of their students on a daily part of their life, hanging out with tiger sharks, bro. It's nuts. Yeah.
You made it all the way to the top of what you want to do with your life.
Hey,
I love being near people like this.
A lot of mountains.
Feel that energy? You feel all this? It's all in here, man. It's amazing.
All right, Eric, for the last topic we'd like to talk about is charity. Why do you think it's important for people or for themselves and their companies to get involved in philanthropy?
Yeah, if you can put purpose and attach that to your business model, it's genius on so many different levels. But at the end of the day, we don't do it for money. But I always have been very clear. Charity has connected me to some of the best people in the world. It has gotten me a seat at so many different tables. Let me be the one to just tell you, like, charity is good for the business model. I'm just going to say it. But at the end of the day, like, we're all going to die. I keep going back to that. What matters? And again, like, if you can connect your business to charity and make that part of the business plan, I think you drive more traffic. You give more meaning to your products and services. You create a mission for your company that is so much bigger than you, that your culture that you can build around it and the buy-in is really profound, but it gets to help people. We've attached ourselves to so many great causes. I'm on the board for Make-A-Wish, like I kids with cancer. I mean, there's so many different places. I too love animals. I think for me in particular, I think the thing that should be preserved more than anything else on planet Earth is innocence. And I see innocence in the eyes of all animals. It doesn't matter if it's a little hummingbird. I look right in its eyes, and I almost see the same eyes as I do on a llama, or as I do on your zebra out here on the ranch. These beautiful, innocent eyes, and I see those same eyes in children, and to me, that's what God is. I literally see it all. And so why not? I mean, everyone's got this profound love, I think. Build it into your business model that you give. And be a leader that gives and teach others to give, inspire others to give. You could build the most beautiful culture around that, and it gives so much more significant meaning to what you're doing. You can have such a bigger dent in the marketplace also because now you're attaching yourself to things that really matter. Build a brand around it, make noise around it. I love companies that have their missions and purpose are far beyond their products and services, and they go right to the heart of charity, philanthropy, all that. But I love to tell people that maybe you're considering doing this, that like, trust me, it is a life hack to be a charitable human.
Last question. Man on a Mission. Why is that the name of your events? Why is that the name of your podcast? How did that name come up?
Yeah, it's funny. Man on a Mission. It's almost controversial to say that now, right? So for me, that's why we did it. Like there's so many things that are happening so fast. I felt like during COVID, I don't need to get political, but at the end of the day, I felt like during COVID, man, these motherfuckers at the very top, these evil motherfuckers, it's like, all right, let's go for broke right now. We might as well. And things changed rapidly and fast. I remember what it was like when I was a kid. And now I look at children in this pre-COVID era, and I see what they're going through, and I see these tiny little neural pathways that are developing. And all this bizarre influence that's happening on them as masculinity gets assaulted in record numbers. I felt like part of Man on a Mission is to say fuck you to all those people that are trying to destroy innocence just because the word man is now insulting. We can't even define what a woman is. But here's what's crazy. I hired this guy, for one of the first people I hired when I was trying to figure out brand, personal brand, all that. And I told him I want to do a podcast. It was the main thing I wanted to do is I wanted to have an outlet to pour my heart. I didn't care how it looked. I needed to do that. And when I was coming with the name, he goes, "You sure you want to use Man on a Mission? What about?" And I was like, "Well, I'm a fucking man, bro." And yeah, I'm on a mission, motherfucker. like that's my instinct. Like someone also reminded me, well, it's not, culture-y. It might be perceived. It's like, fuck you. I'm doing Man on a Mission. I was so sold on Man on a Mission. And now it's become a real movement. It's powerful. It was one of the best things I've ever done with my life. I mean, I love it. It's amazing.
I mean, there's plenty of women that come to men.
Oh, there's more women than men. I feel like in my coaching programs, I for whatever reason, I track more women than men. I do an online coaching program called The Blueprint. We teach people how to build blueprints for their dreams, and it's 70% women. Like women love men on a mission, and I'll tell you, real women they love real men. All this weird shit that these people are trying to pump into little kids' heads in school, fuck their minds up. That ain't real. That's not it. Women appreciate a man that's a protector, that does what he's supposed to do, that steps up to the plate and takes ownership of things. It's a real man. Women on a mission.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Money Mondays with Erik Rock and the real Tarzan. As always, we ask for a simple favor. There's no ads here. We just want you to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. When you see clips, there's going to be a lot of great clips from this episode. Share that with your friends, repost it, etc. All those things help us spread the message and spread the story and have these deep discussions about money. We need to be blunt about money. Talk about loans, credit, finances, borrowing money, paying things, asking for raises, all the things that are part of your normal life. People think it's rude to talk about it. We think it's rude to not talk about it because those are important. You have to be able to ask for a raise when the time's right. You have to know how to talk about loans. You have to be able to ask your friend to pay you $400 back. You have to be able to know how to do with documents and sign contracts and go to your bank. And like, you just have to know these things and talk about it. And we didn't grow up with that in our households or our schools. And so, damn it, Tarzan and I are going to talk about it. And we're going to bring on some great guests to talk about it like Erik Rock. We will see you guys next Monday.